Hi there and welcome to anybody who's logged on through the website or anybody who is on YouTube floating around. One of our first demonstrations at RV Ops was on the Hennessy Hammock. Okay, time's moved on, I've got a little bit older, you've got a little bit older, but our range has increased, our range of Hennessy Hammocks has increased. So what we thought we'd do is introduce you to a few additional products that we've done from Hennessy, a Canadian based company. Talk a little bit about the hammocks before moving on to the demonstration proper. If you look at these hammocks here, you'll notice that they're all replicated. The top row is replicated by the bottom row. However, the difference is that Hennessy now have moved on to making hammocks with a side zip entry. For those who have used Hennessy or are familiar with Hennessy hammocks, the traditional method of entry is actually under the hammock through a Velcro enclosure. Just talking a little bit through the hammocks, the one at the far end, the Safari, the Deluxe Safari, is the biggest hammock that Hennessy do, which we'll demonstrate for you later. However, the other hammocks, are slightly smaller, and because they're slightly smaller, we would recommend, strongly recommend, which will become apparent during the demonstrations, that if you are on the move with the Hennessy hammocks, you get yourself a set of snake skins. It is definitely the way ahead. The Scout hammock, moving across here, Pete. Okay, the Scout hammock is for just that, scouts, guides, younger people, or for anybody under the weight of 14 stone. Obviously, this being Canada, North America, read into that what you will. Okay, but that's the Scout hammock. The Deluxe Explorer ASIM is for people who are over 6 foot tall, and for people under 6 foot tall, you have the option of opting for the Expedition ASIM. So there you go, that's the range of hammocks. What we'll do now, without further ado, is we'll move on to the next demonstration, which just discusses the contents of each bag. Okay, moving on. Okay, we've spoken a little bit about the various hammocks that we sell. Before we crack on, I think it's very important that everybody notes that with all the equipment that RV Ops sell, including the Hennessy hammock, please read the specifications. For example, if you're over 6 foot tall, don't go buying an Expedition ASIM because it's designed for people under 6 foot. If you are 6 foot and over, then you need to be aiming your sights at the Deluxe Explorer. So that's the little lesson over with. Pan down here, Pete, let's talk a little bit about what you get in your hammock. You get your tarp, which goes over the top of the hammock. You get a set of tree huggers, which are excellent for basically spreading the weight around a tree. And you get the hammock and mosquito net, all integral, all in one. Okay, depending on which one you buy, you either get a side entry with zip, or you get the more traditional one, which is where you enter underneath the hammock. So without further ado, we'll crack on. We'll go and set up a hammock, and then we'll do a walkthrough, talk-through demonstration of what the hammock is about, and all the things that we like and all the things that we don't. We've spoken about the various hammocks that we do. We've spoken about the contents of the hammock. And now here we are at the Safari, the biggest hammock that Hennessy do. Don't forget, as mentioned in the intro, we wouldn't use or advise using a snake skin with this particular system. Okay, it's not really designed that way, and it's an absolutely massive hammock. It's more a type of a hammock that you may use if you're, I don't know, in a vehicle or in a static location for a long time. It is that big, if you look at it, and that wide, that you could get 2 people in this. And if you're using it for one person, you'll have absolutely acres of space in there. It's like the difference between a single bed and a double bed. There's that much space. What we've done is we've taken the tarp and we've folded it over the back, okay, so that you get a little bit of a visual as to what's going on underneath the tarp, i.e. the poncho and the mosquito net. Note that this particular hammock doesn't have a zip in it. They do actually come with both. You can get the one with a zip, and you can get the one which is the entries from underneath. This one's the entry underneath. You see here you've got a Velcro opening, like so. And all you do is you just basically slide yourself inside and sit yourself down. What happens then is that the hammock, basically lying across the hammock, you get a really good rest. Getting out, you just push the Velcro apart with your feet and you stand up. Inside the hammock, you've got a sleeve, which you can put things like, I don't know, your socks, nutty bars or whatever, just for stowing stuff. And it's got a little rigid line inside, so you can hang stuff over that, torches, I don't know, MP3 players, whatever. If we just pan this way a little bit, Pete, I just want to point something out. I'm 5'10" and I weigh about 80 kilos. Getting in this, as you probably noticed, my arse was almost dragging on the ground. This here has been actually rigged up at around about 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2" up in the air. Okay, when you're putting up the hammock top tip, make sure that you get the hammock as high as possible, okay, and as rigid as possible before you actually sit yourself down inside it. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring the tarp back across the system. And peg him out. Okay, obviously if you're putting this up you could be a little bit more particular when you're putting it up and be a little bit more careful so you get everything rigid and everything square, but that's pretty good. One of the things I just want you to note is that the shape of the poncho is different to the Expedition ASIM and the Deluxe and the Scout. It's a different shape, it's more oblong. Again, probably ideal for static locations where you're going to need an administration area underneath for cooking. On that basis, we think that it is an exceptional hammock like all the Hennessy hammocks. It is a static location system, I think. It's got yards and yards of space inside. Any specifications you want on the hammock, refer to the website, but this just gives you a very basic visual reference should you need one. Thanks very much indeed for watching. Cheers. Then that's definitely the way to go. Stop, rewind, bollocks, 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 bollocks. This particular hammock, which is the Safari from Hennessy, it is a massive hammock. It's one of the biggest hammocks, if not the big. In fact, bollocks, it is the biggest. Can't say that, can we?